Yo, what's going on, my friend? I'm going to answer the commonly asked, frequently asked question. How often should I go live? So, bear with me for 2 seconds. Let me know if you're here live in the comment section while I'm just making sure this is set up. If you're here on the replay, just go replay. And I'm going to answer a couple actual common questions here. How often should I go live? I get asked all the time. And what the heck should I talk about without sounding super redundant? So if that's you and you're looking to come up with like some really good headlines for your live videos or topic ideas for your live videos, and really determining like when or how often you should be actually going live to get clients and leads coming into your business, I'm going to answer that right now. Which, by the way, I am taking on a little challenge here where I'm going to be doing 100 lives in 100 days. This is something that I actually recommend to a lot of my students. This is part of the In-Demand Coach program where we actually teach people strategically how to go live and generate leads. It's actually the 100 lives, 100 leads, and 100 days challenge. And so I'm going to be kind of leading the charge here, and I'm going to just be going live for 100 days, giving little bite-sized nuggets of value and content here right on my personal page over the next 100 days. So be sure to tune in if you are wanting to come along for the ride. And so every day I'm going to be sharing something new, right? Something different. Either a frequently common question around getting more engagement or generating more leads or call to actions, like converting more people into becoming clients that are on your page, things around that we're going to be really diving into. And so anyways, with that being said, let me go ahead and jump on in to answer this question. How often should I go live? I want to first start with it really depends on your goals. This is the little caveat here. It depends on what your goals are. I want you to think let's imagine say you're helping somebody lose weight or whatever, right? Whatever the thing that you help people do. We use weight loss for an example. And somebody's like, hey, I'm going to have you work out 6 times a week. That may be very excessive for some people, right? If they only need to lose a few pounds, right? Versus if they need to lose 80 pounds, there's no way they're going to do 6 times a week, right? Versus somebody that is 80 pounds overweight, if they worked out 2 to 3 times a week, it's probably pretty sustainable. And we know that they're going to end up losing the weight because of their goal, right? And where they're starting from. So it's a lot similar. It's very similar with growing a business. It's okay, how many times should I go live? How many times should I post content, really, for that matter? It all depends on your goal, right? And so a kind of a loose recommendation, this really literally depends on where you're starting from and what your goal is at least 2 to 3 times a week, unless you're doing the 100 lives with 100 leads in 100 days challenge, right? Then you're going to do 100 days. But outside of that, usually 2 to 3 days a week is pretty good to be able to sustain and to be able to get leads and clients. But the more important thing here, and this is true for live video, this is true for any content you're posting, marketing that you're doing, what's more important is you actually have the right framework and I call it an acquisition system in place, so you know that you actually can get predictability around generating leads, right? There's a lot of times people just focus on the front thing. It's let me just go live, or let me just post content, or whatever the thing is. Let me just stay consistent. Let me just post every day because somebody said that daily consistency is number one. That's actually false, right? It's important to be consistent, of course. That's a key ingredient for success, no matter what you're trying to achieve. But what's more important is that you're learning things. And write these things down, by the way. And you're learning things okay, how do I actually write a good headline? How do I come up with a good hook for my videos? How do I get better at communicating my call to actions? You know what I mean? These are the things that are going to actually help produce predictability with generating leads, with getting clients. So while it's a great question, how often should I go live? The better question is, how little do I need to post content and go live while still getting predictable and consistent leads and clients coming in on a regular basis? So it's the acquisition process that really matters. And so what I teach to our students in the In-Demand Coach program is to have a nice blend. We show them how to do strategic live videos, how to post outside of those live videos to make sure that there is an actual system in place for getting predictable leads and predictable clients on a regular basis. Now, with that being said, I'm going to do a little part B here, with like, how do you come up with topic ideas, right? Without sounding redundant. Well, I'm going to reframe that question. It's, you do want to sound redundant. Like, if you are talking about too many things, then you end up being what's called a generalist. Versus like, if you are talking about a specific thing multiple times, you start to become a specialist in that area. It's like, why do people come to me for selling naturally on camera, whether it's live video or whatever, right? It's because like, this is what I talk about. This is what I'm a master in, right? Am I good at written content? I'm pretty good at it, right? I can teach people how to do it. I'm much better than most, right? But it's like the camera, live video, speaking, communication, conversion, that's my thing. And I talk about it all of the time, right? And so think about like what you're really, really good at. You may help people with multiple things, right? You may help people with like the best workouts, the best nutrition, like really good mindset hacks. You may be really good at all of these things, but like, what's one thing that you can make yourself known for? You know, I love to refer to this as like the core premise to your entire brand, right? It's like, let me pull up this. It is how to write copy that sells. Even if you're not watching this on video and you're listening to this, how to write copy that sells. What do you think that book's about? What do you think it's about? My guess is you probably think it's about how to write copy that sells. It literally says it, right? How clear are your topics? Like, if you are talking about in your social media, whether it's on live video or not, it's like, it should be very, very clear what it is you specialize in, what problem you solve for your avatar. And there should be that consistent theme. This is why, like in my fitness business, people knew me as the belly fat guy, right? Is I talk about belly fat metabolism. That's it, right? And there are some, you know, as I'm saying this, I can see how this could be confusing for some folks. And if this is confusing for you, like, just know that here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a little bonus here to help make sure that anybody that's like, dude, I'm not sure exactly what to do. I'm going to give you some steps and then we'll wrap this baby up. Step number one, when you're really trying to come up with things to talk about is, and it is foundational, but like, approach what I'm about to tell you from a glass half empty, especially if you're not getting the results in your business, right? Because if you're not getting the results in your business, then what I'm about to say, you actually don't know. You may have heard of, you may have done the things before, but you don't know it because you don't have the results. So glass half full. First thing you have to do is write down your avatar, not niche, but your avatar's pains and desires. Like, what are the problems they're facing? What are the pains they're in? What are their frustrations? What do they want, right? What's the transformation look like to them? Get very clear on that stuff, like crystal clear. Okay. Number two is you want to think about the biggest mistakes that they're making to try to get out of that pain and to solve those problems, right? What are they doing right now that's not working for them? Get really clear on those mistakes. Step three, what are the limiting beliefs they have around those things? Like, why are they taking those actions? Why are they making those mistakes? Get really crystal clear on that, right? And then step four is you want to come up with like the core premise to your brand, right? As I just showed you in this book, we obviously know what this dude, Ray Edwards, does. He teaches people copywriting. It's very simple what he does. He's obviously very clear. And so once you have your core premise, it's like, I call it your vehicle, like how you're driving people from problem to transformation. You then want to do, this is step 5 here, you want to come up with what I call core attraction pillars. These all root off of your main core premise. Does this make sense? And so you'd have just a few things. This would essentially be pillars to your program or your unique process to how you get somebody from the problem they're into the transformation. Like, that is how you would come up with topics forever, right? Is when you're coming off of those things. Okay. And then you branch. And if I'm going quick, it's okay. You can re-listen to this a second time. If what you want to do is you want to bucket your content topics in a live video into 4 buckets. Bucket number 1 is connection. Like, how can you use those topics to create connection with your audience? The second bucket is influence. How can you address the mistakes they're making? How can you help them overcome the limiting beliefs in your videos, right? Around the core topic, right? Around the core thing that you're helping them solve, to help help change their perspective, help them see things in a different way. The third bucket is proof. Like, what proof can you show from yourself or another client or whatever that you actually know what you're doing, and to help give your viewer hope. And then there's, of course, standard teaching, like the how-to. Much like I'm doing today. This is a very big teaching topic that I'm giving you today, where you have some buckets where you can just hop in there and teach your heart out. All right? So that's it. I answered 2 questions today. We kind of went off a little bit, but it's totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So what we covered, quick recap, make sure you implement, especially if you're going to follow along for the 100 lives in 100 days that I'm going to be doing here. You want to make sure that you are taking action on everything that not everything, right? But you want to not just watch a video or consume content and not actually implement, right? So what we covered today was like, how often should I go live? And I mentioned that it's all based around your goal. If you're looking to acquire new clients, you want to be going live at least 2 to 3 times a week. But what's more important is the actual acquisition process in place, making sure that you have your content, your skill sets are, you're improving your skill sets, so that way you actually know how to drop call to actions, how to hook your audience in, because that's what's going to produce clients. And then we then talked about topic ideas and like how to come up with what to say without sounding redundant. I said that you should be sounding redundant. You just want to be able to use the different buckets. You want to be able to use different client case studies, different stories, different things that you can use inside of your videos. So that way it's like the same topics, but it's like different examples, different ways you're going about talking about it. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And I would love to know what you found most valuable in today's episode. Just drop it in the comment section below, and I would love to know. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, shoot me a message. Just let me know exactly what hit and resonated with you and what you're going to take away from this. And of course, I would really appreciate you if you would pull out your phone, open the podcast app that you most frequently listen to, whether that's Apple Podcast or Spotify or whatever. Hit that subscribe or follow button, whatever it says to you, to make sure that you don't miss a beat on these episodes that I drop. And then I would love you to scroll down, and especially on Apple iTunes, leave that 5-star, or if it's deserving to you, a 5-star rating, and whatever you feel it deserves for a review. I would really, really appreciate you by doing that. All right, my friend. With that being said, I am out. Remember, your message matters now more than it ever has before. Do not be afraid to get out there and speak it. As always, have faith, stay focused, and take aligned action.